You're watching the Red Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Straight ahead in the Red Zone, a soggy ending in Fresno. The Rebels lose a 2-touchdown second-half lead and walk away empty-handed. Head coach Tony Sanchez is in studio to break it all down. Plus, former Oregon head coach Mike Bellotti drops in the Red Zone to talk about what could be to come in college football. And the Mountain West basketball coaches give us their thoughts on what's expected to be a season-long shootout in conference play. The Red Zone is feeling the groove right now.
This is the Fox 5 Red Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Good evening. Welcome inside the Red Zone. Thanks for dropping in. Kevin Bollinger alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez. And that was a game Friday night in Fresno. A lot of people anticipated a rout, but you guys knew you were going to be in for a war and just a rough ending.
Yeah, it was. We did some good things, and obviously at the end, they just saw it slip away. And we've got to learn how to finish. These guys they've learned how to fight. They've learned how to prepare and how to do things. But we got to do a better job of finishing. And we knew it wouldn't be a rout. Heck, that's kind of a little overzealous for anyone to think UNLV is going to rout somebody. But we're working towards it, and we're getting better.
Kind of nice that the expectations are, though, from fans that you guys have built so far.
Yeah, so fast. And that's one of the things we talked to the kids about tonight. Heck, I think before the season, if you're going into the bye week and you've got the same amount of wins that we had last year, and you got the Cannon at home, and and you're favored going into these games, we've raised that level of expectation, and the fans want more, and they deserve more, and we're going to give them more. We're going to keep on working and get this thing done.
Well, let's get to the highlights where UNLV struck quick, but Fresno let them know that they would be in for a dogfight.
Our team are on the upswing. Today is a freaking party. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Right from the jump. Right from the jump. Here we go. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
A sparse crowd in Fresno for the Friday night tilt, and they got quieter after UNLV's first possession. Rebels get the ball first. Kurt Palandek at the controls. 3rd and 3 at the 32. Palandek hits Andrew Price for the first down. Then the QB finds a hole and races 10 yards to move the chains again. Keith Whiteley was effective early, bouncing off a tackle for 14 yards, and the Rebels were down to the Bulldog 13. On the next play, it's Whiteley again, straight ahead for 12 and the first and goal at the 1. George Nafahu pounds it in for the touchdown. The Rebels score on their first possession for the 4th straight game. The drive, 75 yards in 13 plays and 6 minutes 43 seconds. It was quickly 7-0. Fresno went to the read option, and quarterback Kilton Anderson used his feet for damage. 3rd and 1. Anderson keeps it and races 35 yards down to the UNLV 39. Then the delayed handoff to Marquez Waller for 11 more to the 13. On 3rd and 3 at the 6, Anderson starts left and cuts back to the middle for the touchdown, and we were tied up at 7 with 2:49 left in the first. UNLV's second possession started at the 23, and on 3rd and 3 at the 30, Palandek hits Anthony Williams for the first down. But after what might have been the longest review in college football this season, the officials said that he was out of bounds, and the Rebels went 3 and out and had to punt. After the defense held Fresno, the Bulldogs get in punt formation, but they drop back early, and punter Garrett Swanson scampers 21 yards for a first down in Rebel territory at the 40. That led to Cody Croning's 23-yard field goal attempt, but it's wide right, and UNLV took over at the 20. Another 3 and out gave Fresno the ball back, and Waller went to work. A huge hole, and he goes untouched into the end zone to give Fresno a 14-7 lead. Midway through the second, the Bulldogs had 138 yards rushing for a team that averaged just over 115 per game so far this season. The Rebels would answer with a long, sustained drive. 3rd and 8 at the 37. Palandek over the middle to Devontae Boyd, who wrestles the ball away for 14 yards near midfield. Xavier Campbell knocks out 9 down to the 40. Palandek scrambles for 7 and gets out of bounds at the 17. Then the QB with the perfect pass to Kendall Keys in the end zone for the score. UNLV goes 75 yards in 15 plays in 5.5 minutes, and they headed into the locker room all tied up at 14.
Another fast start, 4 straight games with an opening possession touchdown. 5 of the 7 games this season, you guys have gone down and scored a touchdown. That's something that we haven't seen at UNLV in an awful long time.
Well, Coach Cotton, and the whole offensive staff done a really good job of game plan. I mean, they set our guys up, and and we just got to do a better job of after those initial things have been done in the game, sustaining it throughout. So again, we're putting the guys in positions to make plays, and they're doing it early in game. And really, we only had 4 possessions in the first half. We scored on 2 of them. Unfortunately, we stepped out of bounds on one that killed one of the drives. But overall, pretty good first half offensively, actually really good. And then defensively, we gave up too many long runs. Again, tackling was a little bit of an issue, and their quarterback did a good job of extending some plays and having some big runs.
Yeah, the defense seemed to struggle with the read option early on. Is that a matter of guys not sticking to their assignments?
It is, but then there are times where, you've got an opportunity to make a tackle in space, and we have to do it. I think that's one of the biggest things and the most frustrating things right now is the amount of time we've emphasized and put into the tackling aspect of it. And you see, we just did a great job of tackling in space. We have to be better at it.
Well, the second half was filled with highs and lows and a late impact from Mother Nature.
Fresno State had the ball to start the second, but the Rebel defense forced an immediate 3-and-out. Tau Lotulelei getting the big tackle here on 3rd down. UNLV started on their own 30 and put together another long drive. Palandek runs for 12 to get things going. On 3rd and 6 at the 50, the quick throw to Lexington Thomas, 11 yards and the first at the 39. Whiteley goes up the middle and he shakes off a tackle for 19 yards. Campbell would cap the drive with his 1-yard touchdown run, and the Rebels had the lead back at 21-14. Once again, the defense went into shutdown mode. Jeremiah Valoga gets the sack on Anderson. The Rebels were forced to punt, but Damari Scott fumbles the kick, and Kendall Keys comes up with the ball for UNLV, and they were in business at the Bulldog 30. 3 plays later, Palandek lays it up for Devontae Boyd, and he has space and a touchdown. UNLV took a 28-14 lead with 5:13 left in the 3rd quarter and looked to be taking control of the game. Fresno answered with a 40-yard field goal from Jimmy Camacho to cut it to 28-17, and the Rebel offense started to sputter, failing to move the chains and work the clock on 2 straight possessions and allowing Fresno State to have some life. They took advantage. The reverse to Jameer Jordan moved the ball down to the UNLV 12. On the next play, Anderson on the read option. He keeps it himself and takes it in from 12 yards out for the score. The 2-point conversion attempt was picked off by Tim Huff, but the Bulldogs had pulled within 5 at 28-23 with just over 11 minutes left. The Rebels were finally able to get a couple of first downs and chew up some clock. The drive stalled, but UNLV had flipped the field. Both teams exchanged punts, and Fresno had the ball back, still down 5 with 4:25 left. Waller gets the handoff to go over left tackle. There's nobody there. He turns the corner and takes off. 38 yards for the touchdown, and Fresno was back up on top. They go for 2. Anderson hits Chad Olson for the conversion. UNLV was down 31-28 with just 2:37 to go. Still plenty of time, though, for the Rebels. All of a sudden, though, the skies opened up and the rain started coming down in sheets. Palandek got things rolling right away, pulling it down and running right up the middle, weaving his way down the field, 39 yards to the Fresno State 36. On 2nd down, Palandek hits Andrew Price for 6 yards to the 30, but he took a sack for a loss of 2 on 3rd down. With the rain continuing to come down in buckets, the 50-yard field goal attempt was out. UNLV had to go for it on 4th. Out of the shotgun, Palandek has the pocket collapse and doesn't even get a throw off, taking the sack, and that is how this one would end. Frustration, disappointment, and a 31-28 loss.
I'm sure a lot of Rebel fans out there were thinking the same thing that I was when the rains came. 25 years this program has struggled. It starts dumping as soon as you get the ball, and as soon as you lose it on fourth down, the rain completely stopped.
Yeah, that was an interesting turn of events. But, at the end of the day, we got to fight not to put ourselves in that situation, And even at the end, we had an opportunity, and you can't take those sacks. You got to put that ball into play. And disappointing, we had a 14-point lead in the second half, and offensively we sputtered a little bit, tried to throw the ball early on some of those early possessions and just weren't making any completions and, not taking any time off the clock at all. So we have to do a better job of that. And, and again, we come out offensively and defensively, do a great job of adjusting in the locker room at halftime. We come out, and you see that on both sides of the ball. But as happened a lot this year, we wear down a little bit. And, and we have to do a better job of that. And, you got to have more depth. And, you got to have off-season upon off-season to get that team tough enough to where we don't wear down at the end. And you've seen that last couple of weeks. You play well early in games, you play well coming out at halftime, and then as games go on and as halves go on, you wear down a little bit. So we're fighting against that right now, but we got a much-needed bye week coming here.
Was there any thought process? I know the rain was going to impact the kick, and it would have been a 50-yarder. Did you think about trotting Nico out there anyway?
I did. We're looking right at it. Looked right at a 50-yarder, but the way it was coming down, that's going to take a good, 3-4 yards off the ball right there. So that's I thought our best chance was to go ahead and throw one in there. And we had an opportunity, and again, you just can't take those sacks, and that's us teaching. That's them learning, and Kurt making a decision to throw that ball. So.
There was a lot of bright spots on the offense, but in the middle of the game there, the failure to move the chains, the 3-and-outs, really was the difference maker in this game. He didn't chew up any clock. It couldn't flip the field on them.
Yeah, again, early, in that third quarter, we did some really good things. Those last 4 possessions really were killers. 3 of the last 4 possessions were 3-and-outs. There's pretty equal distribution as far as, passing and running. And first down was killing us. You get 1 down on first down, or you have an incomplete on first down. Now your back's against the wall, and, you're asking Kurt to, convert those third downs, and you really struggle with that. So, we've got to get better at it. And like I said, some of that's the attritional wearing down and not having guys you can roll in up front. But no excuses. We got to get better, and we got to work at that.
Blake Decker was available to come in if needed. You have 2 weeks here to prepare for the Boise State game. Who is your starting quarterback taking the reps with the first team in these next 2 weeks to be the starter against Boise?
Well, we talked to Blake a lot going into this week, and we knew once he's a healthy 100%, he'll get back in there. There's still a place for Kurt. I think what we're gonna do, and we've talked about a little bit as a staff, is the ball goes back to Blake. You don't lose your job because of injury, but Kurt is doing enough with his feet to where he can be a change-up guy. So we'll go back in tonight, and then we'll talk to both of them and get going on Boise with Blake.
Well, straight ahead, we are going to keep the Reb Zone rolling on. The players react after Friday night's loss in Fresno, and then we go one-on-one with former Oregon head coach Mike Bellotti to talk about where college football's heading and how UNLV fits into the picture. That's in 2 minutes. Stick and stay.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by R.C. Willey. Your home, your way.
We can't have 3-and-outs like you said that late in the game. Those crucial moments where if we kept the chains moving, we could have put this one away. And I put a lot of fault on the offense there and myself. I'll take responsibility, and we just got to learn from it and play better.
We did a lot of things we haven't seen this season, but it's not an excuse. We just didn't get the job done on defense at the end of the day.
It's real hard. The team's taking it pretty tough, but still had to get back and get to work and focus on the next game.
College football could be seeing another major transformation in the next few years, and there have been some minor tweaks recently. We sat down and talked with ESPN analyst and former Oregon head coach Mike Bellotti to get his perspective on the future.
You never let up, you never give up, you never give in.
Former Oregon head coach Mike Bellotti has been around college football for decades. As the head of a program in Eugene that turned around from laughingstock to powerhouse, he says UNLV is taking the right approach by focusing on facilities first.
I would say it's about branding. And it is branding on a national basis that you can have something, and facilities, it is where you start, simply because you have to get something that'll make a young person want to come to campus. And typically it's facilities. The name Las Vegas, they'll probably get some people here, but you have to, once they get here, the facilities, the commitment to winning has to overwhelm that young man. He has to say, wow.
Getting in the high-level student athletes at a school with UNLV's budget has been made more difficult with the cost of attendance, which allows programs to supplement scholarships with money. It's something smaller conference schools without big money TV deals are struggling with in direct competition with power conference schools.
It's very difficult. Unless you're willing and ready to do the cost of attendance, that's a $2,500 to $5,000 difference per year that the athlete or the athlete's family has to foot the bill unless you're on financial aid. So the reality is it probably, with the upper crust and the student that qualifies for financial aid, it's not as important. But for the average middle-class person that needs money, it's going to make a huge difference.
All of that could change in the near future with an expected upheaval in conferences.
I believe eventually there will be 4 super conferences with 2 divisions of 8 teams each. So there'll be 64 teams or whatever that is, and the rest will be on the outside looking in. And if you have the wherewithal, which means money, clout, facilities, power, history, you'll be in those super conferences. If not, you'll be relegated to a lesser status.
Bellotti feels UNLV is poised to join the party if they can upgrade facilities, get a stadium, raise academic status, and show loyal fan support. It's an investment that could result in long-term economic gains. But can UNLV get an invite?
You're on board with everything that Coach Bellotti said right there. Can this program be in position when the next big change does come?
We can, and I've been talking about that same issue since I've gotten the job, and it's so important that we invest now and invest in facilities, take care of cost of attendance. And you look at teams in our conference that are currently doing that. Utah State, with their new facility, their new press box. Wyoming's already announced their brand new football facility, and we need to do it. Colorado State's shown the investment, so it's not just the big schools doing it. There's communities and universities out there that have said, hey, we want to be in that conversation. And you look at the city of Las Vegas, you look at our location, you look at the fan base, 2 million people, TV market, all the possibilities are right there, but we have to invest. We need to invest now.
And if you get the investment, you're going to get the return down the road, especially if you can move into a power conference and get the bigger TV dollars.
There's no doubt about it. You look at our athletic budget at UNLV, and it's less than the Big 12 TV money for football before they kick off. When you look at that, it's kind of glaring what we need to do here, and it helps you recruit. You recruit at an entirely higher level when you have facilities like Coach Bellotti, alluded to. They come in, they see the investment, they see that it matters here, and it starts with facilities and then things like cost of attendance. We don't want to be one of 12 teams in the country that are not currently paying it, and I know next year we're making a commitment to go ahead and do that, but it's important for the future of this program and the university and athletics.
We're going to talk some hoops coming up right after this, and here, though, first is the play of the week.
This hair-raising play of the week is brought to you by Vegas Valley Hair.
Third quarter, Rebels on the move. Kurt Palandek goes up top for Devontae Boyd in the end zone, and Boyd hauls it in for the touchdown. The score gave the Rebels a 2-touchdown lead and is this week's hair-raising play of the week.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by R.C. Willey. Your home, your way.
Tip-off of the basketball season just over 3 weeks away, and one thing we know, the Mountain West is up for grabs. Basketball is back, and earlier this week, Mountain West coaches gathered to talk to the media about what's expected to be a wide-open race.
There's a lot of good teams, and there's a lot of good players and great coaches and tough places to play in this league that it's such a fine line. It's such a fine line between 7th and 1st.
San Diego State was picked to finish first once again, and head coach Steve Fisher says consistency was built over time.
17 years ago, March of '99, when we came there, we said, close your eyes and dream about helping build a program. And every player that's come in there has helped put a brick into place in building and then growing a program. And we're immensely proud of that fact.
UNLV was picked 4th despite a roster loaded with talent, but Dave Rice isn't concerned.
I like the collective energy of our group. I liked our depth, I like our personnel, and it's important for us to maintain that same consistent effort on a daily basis.
With the shot clock going from 35 seconds to 30 this year, teams will be using more full court pressure, including the running Rebels.
We have made a commitment to force tempo. We want to press. That doesn't mean trap on every possession, but we want to pick up early on made field goals, on made free throws, and on dead balls in the backcourt.
Traditional powers like New Mexico and Colorado State are expected to be middle-of-the-pack teams. Fresno State and Utah State are seen as potential dark horses. There are new coaches in Logan, with Tim Duryea replacing the legendary Stu Morrill, and in Reno, where Eric Musselman is hoping to reload some talent.
We're totally focused on this year. Having said that, just like all the coaches in the Mountain West, we got to continue to recruit on a daily basis. We got to try to continue to build the influx of talent that we have as well.
And what about defending tournament champ Wyoming? Gone is Larry Nance Jr. and others, but left behind is a belief that this can be done in Laramie.
Can you win a championship in Wyoming now? Yeah. Can you develop an unheralded recruit to become a first rounder for the Lakers? Yeah. Can you have every single senior graduate on time? Yes. But when we drop that banner in the exhibition game, I don't even have a coaching friend that's ever coached 6 freshmen and 6 sophomores. So it's a new horizon that we're going to be facing.
We'll have a better gauge after the non-conference schedule plays out, but this has the makings of a Wild West that could come down to the final weekend.
Runnin' Rebel Madness Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It is free and it is in downtown Las Vegas. We're back to wrap up the Red Zone right after this.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Coach, have a good bye week. Next week in the Reb Zone, we are going to recap the first half of the season, look ahead to the Boise State game, and give you a whole lot more with the Runnin' Rebels as well. Here are your Rebel plays of the week. Good night.
I got fire under my feet, and I feel it in my heartbeat. Oh, you can put out these flames, you can keep it down in my seat. I got fire under my feet, and I feel it in my heartbeat. Oh, girl, get out of the place if you can't take the heat.
The Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show was presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.